Alright, so if you keep up with the channel, you've probably seen the DIY videos for some of the cars and the motorcycles, the Viragos and things like that. But for today's video, I wanted to show a cool tool that I found when I was over at the plant in Quimper, France, that is with the company that I work for. So we'll head over here to the other garage, and there's the intruder that I just restored, by the way. We'll see that here in a minute. And let's see just exactly what is a French pipe wrench. Alright, so just exactly what is a French pipe wrench? Well, if you're in the US, you know what a pipe wrench is. It's one of these big old guys right here. So, in my travels over to the plant, which I support equipment issues when something goes like really bad wrong, my for real job is to go over and fix it at the plant. So I get to go around to Brazil and France and Mexico and quite a few other countries to work on equipment. But I was over there and we were talking about a pipe wrench, that I was needing a pipe wrench. So I said, hey, let me get a pipe wrench. And they said, oh, okay. So they didn't bring me a pipe wrench like the US. They brought me a kit of these little things right here, which turns out they are super cool, and they are indeed a French pipe wrench, or a clé à pipe. So what's cool about them, I've never seen them in the US, but they're just the handiest little thing. So as soon as they brought them over, I was like, man, I need to get me a set of these. So I ended up getting a set and bringing them back over here. But what it is a metric set of these little L wrenches. It's called a pipe wrench over in French. But I'll show you why they are so cool and so handy, because one of the biggest things that I really like about it is that the little short end actually has a through hole. So you can do long bolts. You could also, which I'll show you in a second on these Virago motors, I'm getting ready to do my next rebuild and build up another bike. But it's handy because if you're adjusting something that has an adjustment in the center, you can slip a wrench right in there. So let's get set up on the motor and we'll just look and see what these French pipe wrenches are about. Alright, so we're zoomed in on the side of one of these. This is a 750 and I'm getting parts off it. It's actually locked up. We're going to rebuild over here and get us another bike set up and going. So I got to get some motors put together. But one of the things that I first thought of when I saw this little guy is the clutch adjustment, because you know it's got the nut that you have to loosen in order to adjust the clutch in. But if you have just a regular, like a ratchet type, and you can't really get a good closed in wrench in on it, you have trouble keeping that little screw set just exactly right. But for this guy with this little wrench, see, it's got a hole in the middle. I can just set that right inside of there, get this adjusted to where it just touches the clutches, and then all I got to do is tighten it up and I can hold the screwdriver, that way it stays in position. So that was the first cool thing that I thought about with these little wrenches, but they do so much more, and they come in big sizes and all kinds of things. So we'll look at some other ways that this thing is so handy on this motor. Alright, so if we look at other ways that these cool wrenches can be used, like up here on the head bolts, right up here, normally you take a ratchet, you know, you break it loose and then you can ratchet it off there, but for this guy, it actually clears everything. So see, you can just spin them off, and if it doesn't clear, you can turn it around and crank it like that. So then you can get it pretty easy. So turned out these things are just handy as can be for working on these bikes, because it's like one wrench and you can use it in so many different ways. So we'll head over here and look at the bike I was just rebuilding in a second. But another nice thing is that, like for these Allen bolts right here, you know, sometimes you have to use the long end and then you get like a closed end wrench and you put it on it to access them. Not necessarily these, but what's cool is that the little hole there, so you can slip the Allen wrench in it, and then it gives you a whole lot of leverage. So you can do it without having to use like an open end wrench and hold it on there, and then it's kind of jittery. So that little guy, that's the little 8mm. We'll put him over here on the other bike to show how he's used as well. So let's scoot over here to this intruder that I've been rebuilding. If you're wondering why I hadn't been making any videos in a while, we'll swing over here to this intruder and I'll show you a restore. Alright, so this is what I've been working on for the past couple months. I got this one buried in the ground almost over at a guy's house. It was just sitting over there sinking in the dirt. Been there about 2 decades, and it was a really nice bike. Got it for a couple $100, so I decided to do a full restore on it. So now it's fully restored, operational. I can even fire it up. It's a good sounding bike. It's not a Virago, don't get me wrong, but it is a good sounding bike, and it does run quite well. To be as old as it is as a 87 1400. So, nice bike, like I say, not a Virago. This is the first Suzuki I took apart, but it turned out to be a really nice restore, so I'm pretty happy with the bike, and we'll keep him around, put him with his brothers, the Viragos, that are over in the other garage. But back to this little tool right here. You can see these don't have hex on them. They actually have a regular socket type. So like for that little guy, I can break him loose with it and then spin it around and take that right out. So just an awesome little tool, plus they look kind of cool. And I've never seen them before. So we added those to our collection from our trip over from France. So now I got me a set of French pipe wrenches. So there we go. So another cool tool to add. Just figured I'd make a quick video on showing those right there. If anybody's interested in them, you can look them up. I'll put the name of it in the video, and then you can Google it and see if you can find some. So there we go. Well, alrighty. Thanks for watching.